I'm Bri.
And I'm Lucky.
We're the host of
Saying Whatever We Want to Say. Authentic girl talk.
No punches pulled.
Like no one's listening.
We discuss any and everything from lifestyle,
our experiences as Black women,
love,
business, and so much more. Saying whatever we want to say.
Hey, what's up, Luck?
Yo, what's up, my girl?
Back at it again.
For another one.
With another Saying Whatever We Want to Say, Season 3.
Season 3.
All right. At some point, I'm going to get over it, and I'm going to stop saying that. But I'm just happy
to
be
just
back.
keep saying it for now. Keep saying it for now.
Definitely happy to be back. We're talking about codependency today. Have you ever felt so emotionally invested or dependent on someone, anybody, that is like the only way you loved, right? The only way you express love or attract love is through dependency. Have you ever...
What is codependency?
So codependency, according to Google, is the psychological condition involving excessive emotional dependence on another person. Have you ever felt codependent on someone?
I would say yes. I didn't think that I was until I knew that I was, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, some reflection.
It's just like, but see, I didn't realize, like, someone had pointed it out to me, number one. They were like, I feel like this relationship is very codependent. It was like there was no individuality. Mm-hmm. I felt like individuality left, if that makes sense, where I felt like the girl on, what's that, Coming to America, whatever you like.
I do whatever you like, Prince Hakeem. I like whatever you like, Prince Hakeem.
Sis, I was, yeah, I would say I was. So how about you?
I definitely, and like you said, in retrospect, looking back, seeing like, wow, I was really dependent on this person. But I think innately, we seek companionship, right? Like innately most people want companionship. It doesn't matter what gender it is or what you like. If you're a human being, you innately want to feel connected to somebody. However, I think that nurturing, the way we are raised, sometimes teaches us or does not teach us our value, right? And when we don't understand our value, we seek it from other people, and that can develop this codependency, right?
Do you think codependency, though, do you think it's more of a feminine trait?
I don't know. I think so. I mean, in my personal opinion.
Because how many dudes do you really feel like they might change their behaviors, mm-hmm. as far as, okay, I'm not going to come in late at night or something like that. But I think, like, if he's into basketball, mm-hmm. or football or whatever, that's what he's into. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're like, you love ballet.
Right.
That he's going to be like, oh, we're
going to go to the ballet.
The arts. Yeah. Like, he might just do it here and there for you. Mm-hmm. But I think as women, we start to just like, oh, I love football too. Now you're running around wearing jerseys.
Now you're up there talking about statistics. Like, honey, you don't know. I don't know what that is.
Watching ESPN, you don't really care.
I think that the narrative that I've heard a lot from men is around peace. So I think that men depend on women for peace, right? Like, men want, I think that they look...
his peace.
Right? They seek peace from women, and that's what they depend on from a woman. But I don't know if they necessarily consume themselves so much in the relationship that they do things that's outside of what they're necessarily interested in. But we, on the other hand, I feel like we do so many things to feel that emotional connection. Like, oh, if he likes this and I like this, then we are more emotionally connected. Right? So I don't know. I think that women have this thing where, well, I think women also have a superhero complex. I think that we want to fix things. I think
we want to save everybody.
Yeah, we want to
make them better.
Yeah, make them better. And like, oh, well, if I like what you like, Prince Hakeem, then I can somehow make your life better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but if you could go back to that younger self, because you said that you reflected on your codependency when you were younger. If you can go back and tell your younger self anything, what would that be?
Like about like love?
About love, about relationships, about self-value.
If I could go back and tell myself, well, number one would be, if we're talking about self-value and value of self, would definitely be, do not lose yourself, love yourself more than any situation. Do not allow yourself to be treated less than you would want your own child to be treated. That is definitely something that I have looked back. I've tolerated a lot of things that I definitely would not tolerate. So I would definitely say probably the biggest thing is in a relationship and in love yourself first. What about you?
I think around the same thing that you said, like value yourself, like treat yourself the way you want other people to treat you. Because all the time we hear treat other people the way that you want to be treated. But you need to treat yourself the way that you want other people to treat you, because you teach people how to treat you based on how you, like, what you allow, like how you allow somebody to talk to you, how you allow somebody to treat you, how you allow somebody to use your time, right? So what are you doing for yourself so this person knows what the standard is? So I definitely would tell my younger self, like, value yourself and teach people how to treat you by leading by example.
For certain.
For sure.
Have you ever, because this just recently happened to me, have you ever had somebody come back from your past into your life and they're treating you the way that you were then, and you're looking like, what?
Yeah, but then it just reminds you. It's like a reflection of
This
what
is who
you
I was.
Yeah, right? It's a reflection of who you were, though. Like when somebody hasn't progressed and you have, and you just be like, whoa, like that was me. Like we obviously connected on something. So that was who I was, and it's just amazing to see that growth. Like, no, thank you. Bye. Bye. No, thank you. So how do you feel about, speaking of codependency, because this is something that I see all too often.
Okay.
How do you feel about, and this is something minute in like the big idea of codependency, but like tattooing a man's name, because I feel like so many people or so many women do this. Like they tattoo their man's name, they've been together for 5 minutes, and it's just like, what is it about?
This is a cover up, guys.
No, for real. Like, what is it about wanting to prove your love to somebody by getting a tattoo? Like, what significance does a tattoo hold?
For me, when I did it, like when we talked about this a little bit before, it was to prove, like, I'm in it for the long haul. Like, I am trying to get you to see that I'm really here, but at the same time, I knew I wasn't all the way there. But for me, it was trying to prove that I'm working towards getting there. I'm committed to being in this relationship. I want you to see, like, at the time, in my mind, the biggest form is like putting something permanent on you. Like, because regardless of, I could cover it up 1,000 times, it's still there.
It's still under there.
It's still there, right? So that was why I did it. I wanted to show him, like, listen, like, I'm really here. I'm working towards getting there. I wasn't there, but I was.
But now that you think about it, do you think that was the most effective way to do that? I don't, like, do you still believe in that, or do you?
Would I tattoo someone else's name on me? Probably. But same time. Like, we gotta do the same time. But no, it wasn't the most effective way. I think the most effective way would have been being my true self.
Okay.
And being honest about everything that I was going through emotionally and mentally, and the things that I had been through in life. I think the most effective way to show someone that you love them is loving them with their love language.
Right.
And I wasn't loving him with his love language at that time.
Okay.
What he wanted, I wasn't giving. I was trying to show him in all other ways, but the way
so
he
there's
actually needed it.
So there's definitely a difference between loving somebody in their love language and pretending to love all the things that they love. Like there is a big difference between meeting somebody in the way that they need to be loved and doing everything outside of yourself to make them love you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I guess that's putting the onus back on yourself to, like, do what you need to do, right? What do I need to do to love you, but not what do I need to do to make you love me?
Right.
Right.
And then you can't lose yourself all in the process.
Right.
Wait, so but you got a tat.
I do, but I was bringing this up. Hold on, let's backtrack. I was bringing this up because I've heard men say to me, so maybe men do have some type of desire to want you to love them, because I've heard men say to me, "Oh, I'll tattoo your name," and I'm like, "What?"
Tattoo my name.
Like, I'm like, "Why?"
What's that song?
I'm like, "What are you trying to prove? I don't get it. Like, why prove to me with
somebody has my name tattooed on them?
Oh,
Not
yeah?
my real name, but my nickname.
Lucky."
Yeah.
You know who you are. No, no, but so that's really why I was bringing it up.
I got it covered because he's married now.
I wonder.
I'll text him.
Let's
call him on the hotline.
Do not text that married man. Oh no.
we still speak time to time, just like, hey, how you doing?
Okay. Well, they all know now. But everybody knows who he is. Him and his wife know if they ever listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
But
he listens. Hey.
But I've always said that I would never tattoo a man's name on me unless I married him.
Okay.
And that's exactly what I did. So when I got married, my husband and I, we went to LA. And we were in Hollywood, and we were walking down the Hollywood Strip, and I was like, you know what, if on the next block, no, I said the next two blocks, on the next two blocks, if there's a tattoo shop, we have to get each other's names tattooed. And the second block, at the end of the block, there was a tattoo shop, and I was like, oh my God, right? I was like, well, we don't have to get each other names. He's like, nope, you already said it. And I was like, okay. But I did say that once I was married, because how I feel about marriage is, if I'm married, I want to do it one time.
Yeah.
Like, ideally.
That's ideally.
Yeah,
yes.
I want to do it one time. That is what I'm choosing. So I will tattoo my husband's name on me. And I did it. You can't really see it, but
it's cute.
Yeah, it's a cute little, and we did each other's names. So.
I do have See, same time. But I do have a question, because this is something I won't make it super personal, but what about matching tattoos and not the name?
I have a matching tattoo. All right, is that why you brought that up?
Yes, because I wanted to, I didn't want to throw you out. But.
No, but I do have a matching tattoo, but I think that, first of all, I picked the quote.
Okay.
So I thought that because it was my idea and the quote that I wanted on my body, like, I felt like it was more okay.
Okay.
I think that he's told me that people in his past didn't like it. Like, didn't like him having the matching tattoo with me or whatever. My husband and I have spoken about it, about me getting it covered up and all of that. I don't think that he has a big issue with it, but I mean,
what do you think? Like, now say the shoe was on the other foot, right? And your husband got some, I don't know, something on his,
with a lady. I probably wouldn't like it. I honestly, in all honesty, I probably would not like that. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, I wouldn't. I would be like, it does seem like you're kind of still connected to that person through the tattoo. But that's the same thing with a name too. Like, I wouldn't like, especially if it was another woman's name, I would be pissed. But the only tattoo that my husband has is my name.
Right.
That was his first tattoo.
Yeah, so that's huge. That's like, commitment. But yeah, so we gotta work on getting that tat covered.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't be hypocritical.
I can't. But
I'm trying to start no beef in the crib.
I know, but also if he doesn't have a big issue with it, like, I feel like we talked about it in the very beginning of our relationship.
Okay.
We've been together for going on 7 years. So it was like a thing in the first year, maybe second year kind of thing, but nothing that was like reoccurring, and now it's been like going on 7 years. So maybe I'll just do it as a surprise to him.
I could understand that.
He knows how.
Because I had a little like back and forth about the initials that I had on my wrist, or that are still on my wrist, or covered up on my wrist. But I was like, when I'm going to do it, when I am ready to do it, I'm not going to do it because you're asking me. I need to do it because I'm fully ready, I'm fully healed, and I'm fully ready to move on. My situation was probably a lot different than yours. Like, how I came into my situation, I was not really ready to even be in a relationship, and it was like, give me a chance type of thing. And I'm like, okay, but this is all the stuff that I come with.
Right, I got this, this, and that.
So...
All right. Well, do you feel like codependency is toxic? Like, do you think that's a toxic trait to have?
I feel like it can become toxic.
Okay.
I feel like it can become toxic when you are no longer being your true self. And then I think what happens is, say your relationship is not working or you're having a hard time. I think resentment sets in. sometimes for the person who is more codependent.
Right.
So I do think that it can become something that is toxic.
And I personally think that it is very toxic. I think that the toxicity is in the definition. Excessive emotional dependence. Like, I feel like that word, anything excessive is too much. Is too much, right? Anything in moderation is great, right? You can even, I don't do this, but like if you eat meat or if you drink cow's milk. Sorry, I don't want to shame people, but like
alcohol,
yeah,
well,
or alcohol,
shaming, but
or
whatever.
I mean, whatever. But like anything you do excessively is toxic. That's how I feel, and that definition doesn't sit well with me. Although obviously we've all experienced that. I'm a hopeless romantic. I feel like I've always been searching.
Are you addicted to love? Do you feel like you're addicted to love?
Now I am. Now that I'm in a healthy relationship.
But like
throughout my life, I feel like I've been on a quest, but I don't feel like I was addicted though. Okay. I think that I was on a quest for the right kind of love.
Okay.
But I don't think that I had an addiction. Yeah, no, I don't think that. But I do concede that I had some codependency because of that quest, right?
Okay.
So I wanted to find it. So I was like, oh, I'm going to do this, to hold on to it. But I didn't really know what love was to be addicted. Like, I didn't understand until I got into my relationship now, like how I want to be loved, like what love looks like for me.
But how did you figure out how you wanted to be loved? Did you know for yourself?
No, I didn't know. I figured it out throughout time. Obviously, okay. Like my husband and I, it wasn't perfect. It was never perfect. We went through rough patches, right? And through that, we've grown through it. And then I kind of looked at like what works for me, what doesn't work for me. But prior to that, in the beginning of my relationship with my husband, I feel like I was developing a codependency on him. Like, he like this, okay, I'll be into that. Like, he was very into like history and like the history of African people, and I was just like diving into all of that stuff. And then after a while, I was like, I don't have as big an interest as you.
Okay.
Right. But it was like after we hit a rough patch, that's when I started to really take a step back and see like, oh, this is good for me. Like, this is what I want. I like this, and this, but I do not like this. And then I had to rediscover who I was and all of that.
And
stuff.
I think that's a good thing, because you like that. I will stick to that, like not losing yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm at a point in my life where I might seem stubborn. I'm already a tourist, so we're labeled stubborn, but I refuse to lose myself. Like, I can't. I've been there. So in saying that, like, I don't know if you believe this, but do you think that two people in a relationship, that they both can be codependent on one another?
I think that you can, but
I've been in a situation like that.
But I think that's incredibly toxic, right? Like, if two people are codependent on each other, like how do you function? Like, it's going to crash and burn.
Yeah, because you got to think, it's like when you say excessive, like everything is excessive. The communication is excessive. Mm-hmm. Like, literally talking all day, all your time is with one another. Like, you do everything together.
No friends?
No, we have friends. We have friends.
Did you all like have to release some of your friends though? Lots of your friends, yeah. That's typically what happens though.
That was actually a fight, mm-hmm. which I understand more so now than I understood then, because I was like, you can have friends, but it needs to be this way. Where it's like, okay, either we're going to have friends or we're not going to have friends. Yeah, you can't tell me how to be friends with my friends.
Yeah, it becomes control.
But that was me. I was like, no, you can have friends. But when you're with your female friends, this, and this is not acceptable. You have to do it this way. And it's just, when I look back on it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I was bugging, because I can't tell somebody. If I'm saying we could have opposite sex friends, you got to trust the person enough to do.
And usually when you're extremely or excessively dependent on somebody emotionally, you don't even you don't give that person space to do anything.
Yeah.
So how is that person going to maintain friendships?
There was literally like at a point like no room for
anybody or anything.
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah. Codependency is not okay. Like, period. I think that it leaves almost zero space for authenticity too. Like, how do you be yourself when you're so dependent on somebody? Like when that person is dependent on you. So like, when do you even have time to be like emotionally free to say, I feel this? Oh no, can't say that because that's gonna make that person feel like this. Oh, can't do that because it's gonna make this.
Or you can. But then it's a whole nother.
It's a big problem. So how do you think girls or women can develop a balance in relationships? So we talking to the people now. Like, how do you think they can? What advice would you give to women about balancing?
I would say, don't consume your time all in a relationship. You have to have just what the question asks: balance. Like, you need to be able to keep your hobbies. You need to be able to say if you need a timeout. For whatever reason, it doesn't mean space in your relationship, but right now I just want peace and I want quiet. You have to be in tune with yourself to know, like, I need a little timeout. I need a little break. So I think the biggest thing is to keep those things that you're doing, those healthy things that you're doing. Let me say that.
Okay.
Those healthy things that you're doing, and also date yourself. Do things for yourself. Take time, whether it's 15 minutes a day, you wake up and say, I'm going to take an extra long hot shower. Nobody lock the bathroom door, no phone. Like, take the time to have time for yourself.
Yes, definitely make time for yourself. And I agree with that. I think that women have to I think that you have to understand who you are. Like, that is number one. Like, before you could even be in a successful relationship, you have to know who you are. You have to have at least a foundation of who you are and what you bring to the table. Like, you have to, the onus really has to be on you to work on you, to know who you are, because somebody can come in and change your life. Like, somebody could come in and make you become so outside of yourself that you don't even know who you are. So you have to kind of have a good foundation of who you are. Like, what's your moral code? What are things you're going to tolerate? What are things that you're not willing to tolerate? And obviously, not superficial things like oh, his ear is crooked, like, you know, like any weird thing that people have really weird superficial issues that they're not willing to deal with. But like, I feel like you have to know what you want morally. Do you want children or do you not want children? Like, and have those transparent conversations with people. They explore. Do not settle for.
That's definitely huge.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of times women settle for a feeling, like
we do. And you know what? And I'm not for nothing, but my daughter, she's young. She'll be. We just talked about. She'll be 20 soon. And I was talking to her about that, and she was like, "Yo, I think that you don't like certain people or whatever." And I said, "It's not that I don't like them. I've been where you're going. I've been through all the things that you've been through. And I just want you to know that you deserve the best of the best. And you have to hold yourself to a certain esteem for anybody to hold you to a certain esteem." So I said, the reason why some people, I'm just like, nope, they're not ready for you. They're not deserving of you. And you need to know that for yourself.
And does she listen?
Yeah.
For the most part?
Yeah, we actually have our date nights every Friday, which we had a really good conversation.
Oh, good.
Last night about that. And it was like, she got it. She was like, you know, but she's going to make her own mistakes.
Of course.
You know how it goes. So what we going to get into, bro, what?
Yeah, so on this segment, of Bro What, speaking of being superficial, we just going to roll.
Wait, let me get to it.
We got to roll the tape. Roll the tape.
Roll the tape. See what this fool got to say.
Sex, love is for men who have accomplished something. If you ain't got 25,000 in your account right now, you don't even deserve to have sex.
Wow.
If you have 25, you don't deserve to walk up to a woman and destroy her life. You know, use that ambition.
So you got to have 25,000 just to have sex?
25,000, yeah. I believe you have to have 25. Now, here's the thing.
Say that one more time, 'cause I've heard you say that before, and I don't know.
Right,
I don't think I disagree when you say sex is for people with...
Imagine if you work hard all week.
Okay.
And Friday night, you know, you like, I met Betty's or Karen. Man, I think I'll partake in some sex. Now you could take her to dinner, go to a nice movie, you know, and seduce her. Don't think she's obligated because she's going out with you. Because women like to have a nice time if the atmosphere is right, the car's smelling good, You know, you got the right music going. You treating her like a lady. You'd be surprised what can happen. But men don't take the time to invest, or they don't want to and they think if this one don't do it, it's a wrap. But yo, it ain't always got to be that way. You can make this girl a friend.
That's right.
And be patient enough to wait until she gives it to you. Or guess what? After 30, 60 days, you may not want to be with that woman or guy, right? Because once you get on the phone, hear the kids in the background yelling and screaming, people having problems, you start
What's
hearing.
going on? Yeah, he's out of here.
Bro, what? All right, let's just
dive
reel it
into
back.
it, because
Okay. Since when does it cost $25,000 to take somebody on a dinner and movie date? First of all, I think that is like very strange. Like, are you going to tell me that you have $25,000 in your account?
I don't understand the significance of the dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
I do, however, think that if a man is going to date, that he should be in a position to do certain things to date someone.
Right.
I do believe that. I believe that a man should have a vehicle. Like, what are you gonna pick me up in?
Right.
He should have a vehicle. He should have his things together, because going out on dates does cost money.
Right.
I don't understand the significance of the dollar amount in sex. Like,
yeah, that makes no, like, how did you draw a correlation between having no less than $25,000 in sex? Like, I don't understand that logic at all, and I don't feel like he did a good job explaining
what he was trying to get to.
Like, what are you trying to promote?
Bruh.
Yeah, but no, honestly, but I definitely agree with you as far as men being in a financial stable situation before they start dating, because dating is a decision, right?
It is.
So
It
it's
is.
it's not like dating falls on your lap. Especially these days, typically people meet online. People are, especially with COVID, people aren't really meeting out unless it's in a work setting or something like that. So like, people typically go on dating apps. So if you're on a dating app, why are you looking to court people if you do not have money to do it? So I do understand that.
Yeah, I think, to me, like, the only thing I could think is people go on dates, or men go on dates, because they're trying to hook up.
Right.
There's a difference between dating someone and trying to hook up with someone.
Right.
That's the big difference. If you're trying to get in a serious relationship, whatever, I feel like there's things that you should and must have in order to date a woman who has a certain set of standards.
Right.
Like, if you're trying to hook up, it is what it is. Y'all hooking up. But I just don't really understand the dollar amount. I don't understand what he was totally saying.
But I think maybe, like, let's think about what he's saying in the realm of celebrity.
Okay.
That makes sense, right? If you're
That's
dating,
like broke for a
I
celebrity.
know, but if you're dating like specific, because this is what made me think of it, because you said a certain type of woman,
Okay.
right? So if you're dating women who are used to men in the industry or whatever, like, I feel like, okay, that,
Can he even afford a Birkin?
yeah, well, no,
Yeah.
no, and that's what the celeb
Gonna have
women
to up your price.
kind of want these days. But like, I feel like when you're dating those type of women, like, I don't think that when I'm dating, I'm thinking about some. First of all, I'm not even thinking about somebody's bank account. Not initially, not on like a first date, but
No?
no.
You-
I mean,
okay.
if they're taking me out to dinner, then I assume that they have money to take me out to dinner.
They could have borrowed it. Like, okay. Let's say.
I mean,
let's say this.
that's getting to know them. That's the first date.
I'm not saying that I want to know what's in your bank account. However, I've looked at people, and this is not, the right thing, but I think this is a woman thing too. We kind of size a man up when we look at, like, what he wearing.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, she was just leaning.
I mean, but he could also be borrowing clothes. So, like, how do you know? How do you really know because he could be borrowing shoes. He could be borrowing a suit. He could be just like he could be borrowing money to take you out to dinner. So that's what I'm saying. Like, why? How significant?
You don't really know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How significant is it on a first date? When you compare it to like having intercourse with somebody, then that's a different thing.
That's a whole different
unless
thing.
you just like for the streets and you just like to do whatever you do the way you do it, however you do it. Then that's your thing. But that was, what was his name?
TK Kirkland.
TK Kirk, and he was on a Breakfast Club, because we didn't mention that. So if you want to go watch that whole interview.
No. No.
And you can see if he explained it.
No.
But watch our videos first. But yeah, so yeah, bro, what? Like that was anything. Like get yourself together and or explain that better because we not really feeling it.
All right, so that's it.
That's it for our saying whatever we want to say today. And we'll be back.
Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram.
Definitely follow us on Instagram.
What's our page?
At saying_whatever we want to say.
Also, make sure you like and subscribe to Only Way Out Podcast on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Also follow us on Instagram too. Same thing, Only Way Out Podcast. Until next time.